We're live? What?
We're live.
Really? Oh, what up, supporters? Hey, you, supporters. This is about you. Hey, we're just doing a show today. We're testing out our equipment because tomorrow we have a guest. The next day we have 2 guests. Paul Offit's coming on the show. So me and Tom are here to talk about everything in an uncensored way, but also just censored enough that if we decide to put this on the real page, we can to draw more supporters in because we're broke.
That's true. That's true. Like I probably won't say the thing I'm thinking about saying.
There's like 14 things that we would normally say for just supporters, but we're just going to hold off. Is it working? It looks like it's working.
Yeah, all the supporters are here.
Oh, heck yeah. Okay, let's check out their comments. Hey, Melinda and Brandon and Sally and Molly King. Yo, live, yo, what up, Z-Dog? What up, Molly? Sumi Long, Anik, Alicia, and I see Tom Heineber and Logan Stewart are watching.
That's right. I support the show, yo.
It's so meta.
Uh-huh.
It's so meta. So tell me, you went to the bar the other day and you started doing some stuff that made white people uncomfortable. Tell me about this, because this is amazing.
Well, all right. So I realized that the white privilege movement.
It's a movement?
It's a movement.
Okay.
But it's a movement to like shame white people.
I see.
And so I've kind of been like, white privilege. And some white people grow up. I didn't. But that was like, there's something about it because white people don't like to talk about race.
They hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't, and it makes them deeply uncomfortable. So when I was at the bar, I just started going, hey, like to other white people, I'd be like, you know who's black? And they'd be like, what? I'd be like, Djimon Hounsou. He's a great actor. And they'd be like, what? That's racist. You can't say that. I'm like, what? I said a fact about him, and then I said he was a great actor.
And you just keep doing this. So, like, you know who's black? Colin Powell.
That's right. That's right.
And that's
it's
enough.
like the Hanukkah song, and you're like, you know who's the third black? Tiger Woods. But it was making my fellow whites deeply uncomfortable.
I love it when you refer to people as whites.
The whites.
Yeah, the whites.
The whites.
You know what's interesting about this is like I found this to be the case because being slightly off-white, I've always taken it as a license to be a total asshole.
Yeah.
So like if there's a bunch of people, I will just start talking about race in exactly that way. It's like this benign way, but you're just pointing out like, oh well, she must be Filipina because she referred to X, Y, and Z, and just you can see the nails start to. I'm sorry, what? We're entering a sphere of conversation here that makes me deeply, deeply uncomfortable. Yeah. I don't see race. I don't see color, except we keep the people with different races across the street, okay? Exactly. Because they make me nervous.
On the other side of 8 Mile, where Eminem grew up.
Don't ever lose yourself in the moment. Let's read some comments. Bologna, y'all know Bologna is an aphrodisiac, right? Danette Zoll-Strobin. Oh, Logan must have called it like we talk baloney.
Baloney.
Yeah, but I call it Bologna because that's the original Italian. It is a city, exactly. City to city, just me and Leviti. Best to grab your toilet paper because it's going to get shitty. E40.
Okay. Okay then.
Let's see. Oh my God, reminds me of when I was home in London. I was chatting to my black friend and she mentioned something about black culture, and these American tourists in our conversation were shocked. They told her, you can't say that. It's not black, it's African American. Anik Aaron Hart. I love it telling a black person they can't say black.
Can I say this? I'm going to say this to supporters. I was at dinner in Chicago with my family, and I had driven from St. Louis earlier that day. We're at like a nice steak place in downtown Chicago, right? And there's a table full of black people enjoying their steaks right next to us. And I think nothing of it, right? Like, but
people eating steak.
Anyway,
yeah.
So, I was talking about driving through St. Louis. I was like, yeah, it's so weird. There's all these billboards for like rappers you never heard of and shit. And like I was like, who's this fucking rapper? Who gives a fuck? And then my uncle was like, calm down. There's some of them right over there. I was like, what?
Some of them.
I was like. What you were saying was not racist at all until you made it racist, guy. Everybody's here just enjoying their steaks.
You know what's amazing? I've had the same thought about those billboards.
Yeah.
I'm like, who are these rappers? Nobody's heard of them.
I'm like, who's T-Beats?
I don't know T-Beats.
You know T-Beats?
This used to happen in the Bay Area during the hyphy movement. It was like, oh, well, who the hell is Dreadlock? I'm like, it's that guy.
I know. And then I felt shamed. I was like, I'm not being racist. What are you talking about?
No, but they'll make
you're
you
the one being racist.
They'll make you feel like you're a racist. And the truth is, you're the only one who isn't a racist. it's friggin' remarkable. Denise Agbesi, as a black primary care doc, I have you a pass on the monkey talking emoji. Actually, Denise, this is a good point. So the monkey talking emoji, I've had a few white people attack me saying, how dare you make a monkey have a black Ebonics type accent?
Right.
And I'm like, wait, okay, first of all, it never even occurred to me. It occurred to me that we were making fun of Mike Tyson.
Well, the reason the monkey got the Ebonics accent, well, it's not Ebonics, it's just Mike Tyson's
It's
voice.
Mike Tyson.
And like,
but they hear it as that.
Well, the reason it happened is because I was showing you that great clip where like it's from the Tyson documentary,
amazing.
Where he's like, I'm the when I walk in the ring, I'm scared. I believe this man could beat me. I dreamed of him beating me. And as I get to the ring, the more confident I get, And we were like laughing about it because it's an amazing part of the documentary because you're like, oh my God, Tyson would fuck people up.
Yeah.
And then
this is how he psychs himself up.
We were talking about it because we were like, oh, who's the least confident person we know?
Yeah,
the primary
care doc. when dealing with something that they need to refer for, I'm supremely confident. I see it's gout, and the gout. And we made the guy a monkey just because that was the emoji that we wanted to use for that particular character.
Right, for
because
primary
they're kind of scut monkeys. Primary care docs are doing all this work, and we have a term in medical called scut monkey. But clearly, the white people we offended were butthurt by proxy on behalf of their African-American colleagues.
Yes.
Whereas, as Denise said, I actually did, so Denise,
Can we just say this too? We're all monkeys.
Yeah.
We all have a common ancestor with monkeys.
Some of us just fling more feces than others.
That's true.
That's all it is.
Here's one that's interesting. I am like 70% Neanderthal.
I've heard this from your 23andMe report, yes.
But that would be, if I was black, and I was 73% Neanderthal, and you pointed it out, it would be racist.
Oh yeah.
But since I'm white, you could point it out and be like, Tom's mainly Neanderthal.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
It's suddenly a funny, yeah. But this is how race has been. I think there's something to it in the sense that we have all this collective unconscious baggage.
Yeah, of course.
That comes
because
from
the history is terrible.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, as an advanced civilization, what we've done to people, to
and
other human beings,
we never integrated the history.
That's the thing.
It's never been integrated.
No, we fought a war.
Right.
The South lost.
Think about the Revolutionary War and how we like we ritualize that trauma every 4th of July by having fireworks.
Right.
Those are bangs from bombs. That's what we're reenacting.
Yeah, we don't.
But
do
we don't
that.
do anything like that with slavery.
Except for a few weirdos that do Civil War reenactments.
Yeah. But
it's not about slavery.
That's about the white struggle.
It's about Appomattox.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
So what do we do for slavery? We have Black History Month, which is
it's diffuse.
It's a nothing. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, but we could, it could be a something.
Yeah.
There
should be some ritualized. I don't know what it is, but we don't have it.
Well,
maybe we should get together and create it,
Maybe we should. We should have a day. Except, we don't have the right to make it. It's got to be. But you know what? It actually has to be white people,
I'm not saying,
black people.
I'm not saying
you
we.
No, you
I'm
and
not saying
me. Why
we
not?
and you.
We can do a lot. Tad knows we can do it. Tad knows we have the power to make a day that's going to cure all of our societal ills. This is why we do this for supporters and not the main tribe, because you can imagine already the number of anti-vaxxers that are now going to call me a racist.
Let's talk about this instead of having a long conversation about race, which neither of us is qualified to have.
Yeah.
Let's tell the supporters we're thinking about doing a book.
Oh yeah. So we've talked about it before. So this whole. I'm not going to write a book because writing a book is dumb. It's not my thing.
And Z can't sit down and write a book.
He's not going to do it. That is racist. I cannot sit down and write a book.
You know Indians. You know how they get.
Yeah, we get
about
very
writing.
Don't make me. You know what? Don't make me write a book because fatafat, I will just fritter away the time playing the video games. I don't want to write a book, but I will dictate a book as an audiobook because that's how I communicate. I'm a spoken word person. So Tom was like, why don't you call it Dictated, Not Read, the ZDogg MD, whatever, Epic, whatever the hell we're going to subtitle it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, let's talk about everything and let's do it in a completely uncensored way. We haven't started because there's such a big activation energy. How do we angle this? What's our structure? What are we trying to get? We want our movement to be galvanized by this thing.
Right. I think a big part of it is just like the book it'll end up being your story, and like because your story mirrors a lot of docs around the country, and like moral injury, which we're always talking about, because they want to call it burnout, like
look
at what, and burnout's bullshit because it puts the onus on you somebody who's being given a Herculean, Sisyphean task.
Big words.
Which cannot be accomplished. You know?
Right.
Sisyphus was the guy that rolled the boulder up the hill, for anybody who doesn't know. So if you want to sound smart, you just say, that's Sisyphean, to mean something that's very hard.
Sisyphus.
It's a good word because it means you're doing a repetitive thing over and over again.
Yep.
And you're never getting results.
It's like Einstein. You know, insanity is doing the same thing repeatedly with the anticipation that something's going to be different.
Right.
But see, I'm always uncomfortable. Like, why would anyone care about my story? It's only useful if you can communalize our pain. So this is something with moral injury. The people who studied it said a lot of nurses, doctors, frontline healthcare people who suffer from moral injury feel that they are alone. In other words, it's their failure to somehow integrate into a system and adapt to a system and be resilient and be mindful and sniff the lavender essential oils. And so as a result, they're alone and suffering. And so what ends up happening, we have high rates of quote unquote burnout, high rates of suicide. But what is missing is something called communalization of pain, because in healthcare, we don't share our emotions with each other. It's a sign of weakness. There's a cultural.
That comes back to the race topic. We don't have the communalization of pain for slavery.
Across races.
We're across races.
Across races.
We all share some sort of, slaves built this country, right? So we're all enjoying the spoils of slavery without ever having taken any of the burden of it on, and the black community shoulders the entire burden, basically. So we don't have a communalization there, and that's why we still have a deep trauma, a deep scar in the country.
And there's a deep trauma even in other ethnic groups like the Chinese. They built the railroads at great personal cost, and I think they internalized that trauma a little bit, at least if my wife's family is a good judge of this. But because they're, quote, a model minority and so successful, we don't hear much national. The Japanese were interned in World War II. Right. We don't hear as much about this, but I don't doubt it's as traumatic a collective unconscious trauma for those groups. Now, to play devil's advocate, did you see there's a recent article, there's a hoax perpetrated by this group of people that started creating academic articles talking about rape culture and just making up a bunch of academic sounding words, and they got published in world-class academia journals talking about this whole idea of cultural appropriation and this and that, just using big words. And because it's so in the sort of cultural zeitgeist right now, even the academics are like, yeah, that sounds good. It sounds like canine rape culture in parks. That was the title of one of them. Canine rape culture in parks. So we can overdo the mental
rape at the dog park.
And translating it to women's rights and the Me Too movement and all this. And so you can over mentally masturbate to this, or you can actually impact emotionally a collective unconscious and try to transcend it. And that's what we ought to be doing, which means we've got to talk about stuff openly without PC.
That's what we're doing here with medicine, is the page is the communalization of pain, so people can come here and be like, yeah, Jesus, it's not just me. I'm not the only one. I feel it too. Everybody's feeling the moral injury from the impossible Sisyphean tasks that they have to endure every day. You roll the boulder up the hill every day, it rolls back, and you got to do it all over again.
So what happens if you have no sense of community and we're all in this together? You're going to burn out. You're going to hurt yourself. If you do have that, then at least we're in this together. Okay, this is now a surmountable problem because all of us agree that the nature of the problem, at least. And I think that's part of it. When I do these talks, a lot of people come up to me and say, I love your Doc Vader because he's saying exactly how I feel, and I thought I was alone. And I'm thinking, Doc Vader's a clown. He's just a bullshit thing that we invented that got popular, so we still do him because it makes I enjoy doing him, and he's a part of my id. But really, he's more than that. He means something to people. He's the communalization of pain. He's the blackness and the darkness. And there I go with the word black. Now I've associated black with evil. But in his world, blackness, dark side, all of this hatred and anger is the manifestation of his daily life. So now we can communalize that and go, yeah, I know what it's like having the emperor put a fucking lightsaber in my buttocks. And so then Z-Dog can talk about, well, how can we make the emperor less of an asshole?
Yeah.
Well, it means we have to have a voice and a movement and agreement. And now we're seeing this sprout up around the country. So it's exciting. So we had to somehow put that into the book.
Denise says, this is why I support what you were doing, for that communalization aspect.
Right. And our and Denise, I'm going to hit like on that as well.
What did you use back when you were just at Stanford and you were in the midst of your darkest period? What did you use to cope? Was there anything?
It's interesting. So it was humor. So I would make jokes on rounds.
Did you ever try? Was there forums or anything like that back then?
No, dude. You know, I never thought about this, actually. It's the first time I'm thinking about this. This should definitely go in the book. You know, almost 10 years at Stanford, 9 and a change. Everybody complained, but they complained about pedestrian shit. Too many patients. Yeah, man, did you see the new Epic update? Now we got to fucking do this. All my templates are deleted. God, you know that one cardiologist is such a pain in the ass, and he always casts everyone. What a fucking pain. That's how we talked about stuff. But everybody, and myself especially, I felt like I'm the only person who can't handle it. Everybody's dealing with it. Why is it that I'm so miserable? Why is it that I think that I'm somehow morally less than my colleagues? Because I'm able to do this to patients. I'm able to ignore this patient and step out of the room and see the other patient because I can't spend time with them. I'm able to do this, but it seems like everyone else is spending time, but they're not. They're all feeling the same, but they don't share the pain. They share the little complaints. That's their way of doing it. So what if we all just sat down, and now they do that, they call it Schwartzman rounds or something, where people sit together and go, okay, tell me about the shittiest thing that happened to you this week. Let's sit and you tell me your thing. And it's a transformative thing. It's hard because people are like, dumb.
And that's shame.
Yeah.
You're feeling ashamed.
Ashamed. Because you said it before. Guilt is you feel bad about something you did.
Yes.
Shame is you feel bad about who you are.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
And there's nobody to share it with so now it's your personal shame. And you're always afraid.
Shame feeds on being a secret too. Like
the
more secret shame is, the more siloed the node is in the network, the less it can connect to other nodes, the worse you're going to feel, the more ashamed you're going to feel. It's a cycle, it's a downward spiral.
Yeah,
you know?
That makes sense.
You have to just, at some point, be like, you know, and it could even be a little thing. You could go to a colleague, right, and just be like, man, I don't think I can do it
hard
today.
time. Yeah.
Like, I'm just having, you ever have one of those days? And somebody might be like, yeah, I do. Here's how I got through mine, whatever. And that alleviates a little bit of shame just saying it out loud.
You know, it's funny. So the way that the stuff will come out with me is I'd lose my temper. So I would lose my temper on a colleague or on a nurse or on, once it happened with a patient, and I will never repeat that. But it was devastating, and because I just laid into this patient.
And part of that is because men get the signal early on that anger is socially acceptable.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's a strong man,
Yeah.
and sometimes strong men, they get angry, but he's tough but fair, right?
That was a big Lebowski. Strong men also cry,
yes.
Mr. Lebowski.
Mr. Lebowski.
No, but it's true, and I remember because one time I lost my temper on a colleague via voicemail, and fellow hospitalist, and I was like, if you just stop fucking doing this. And he voicemailed me back. He was older, wiser, and said, Zubin, it sounds to me like I think you have too much work, not enough resources, and you're really stressed. Let me know how I can help you. Can I see a couple of your patients? Maybe I can take your call, but it sounds like you're having a hard time and I want to help. And that was the most wonderful thing. And you know what it did? It diffused me instantly, and I de-escalated, and I felt better. And yet, there was a part of me that was like, he can handle it, why can't I? And more shame. Right? So this is the problem, I think, with the moral injury of working in today's healthcare system. And it's not just doctors, guys. I mean, if I'm giving you that impression, take it back. Because you all know, the nurses know, the RTs know, the nutrition, the administrators. This is the other thing. Like, I had an administrator message me the other day, thank you for mentioning administrators when you talk about moral injury. We are morally injured as much as you because we want to do the right thing, but now all our incentives are saying, make more money, massive RVUs, hit the quality measures, but we know what our doctors do, and it's driving us, tearing us apart.
Jason says, do you think it would be better to try to understand why people are racist rather than just waging war on racist people, and then maybe we could actually fix the problems? And Melissa says, everyone is at least a little racist or biased. We all have something to work on together, and we have to be the culture behind it. That's greatly simplified. This is kind of going into the leveling up thing we were talking about. Like, how do we, as a collective, level up? It's not going to be top down dictating to people, being like, you're a racist and you're bad, whatever. It's got to emerge from bottom up somehow. Like, and I think what it is we need to take the nodes that are siloed and try and reintegrate them and connect them. Like, look at like what happens in Denmark or Norway or Sweden or
community,
all the pussy countries. You know what I mean?
I just got invited to speak in Scandinavia. And I was like, oh, I love it, Lars. I think this is wonderful. And then I'm like, that'll be a lot of money. And they're like, we're out.
They're onto something because, they try and reintegrate their people who do terrible things. And now this feels really bad because there was that guy who got on that island.
Shot up an island full of kids.
Full of kids. It's 80 kids he killed. And he gets a Nintendo and he's going to be released. And that feels bad, but why did he feel it was a good idea to shoot up 80 kids? That's not a normal human impulse, right? Even if you're mentally ill, it's not a normal human impulse. So
Right.
He was a malfunctioning node in the network, and they're trying to correct him.
Well, I think, to get to this racist piece, I think even the word racist doesn't describe, someone said bias. It's an implicit, unconscious, conditioned bias. And some of it is genetic. I do believe we're born with a degree of bias against others who don't look like our in-group. And that may be a natural bias that we can overcome with work.
Probably.
And recondition. And
but a lot of
some of it's conditioned cultural
stuff. A lot of it
stuff.
is pattern recognition.
Of course.
Because human beings are great. That's what our brain does. We recognize patterns.
Recognize threat in particular.
Yeah.
So when a police officer sees an African-American youth of a certain age, their pattern recognition says threat, so they're going to bias towards dealing with that, and that's not good because. But then again, you look at in a line at a TSA. I am an Arab-looking dude who's bald with a funny last name.
Z always gets you.
I get profiled every time.
You always get stopped.
Yeah.
Every time I fly with you, you get stopped, and I'm just I skate right on through. Just hey, what's up, peeps?
Whitey DeLuca over here flies right through. Z-Dog has to stop. But you know what? Never once did I feel don't do that to me. I feel I get it. The pattern is it's not a young Jewish kid flying a plane into a building, all right? So I understand your pattern recognition. It doesn't make it right to be biased against people of Middle Eastern descent, which according to 23andMe, I'm 95% Persian, Iranian. Even though my parents are from India, it's a diaspora, So I get it. The thing is, you can't even talk about that. Just what I just said, people will say, so now he's advocating racial profiling, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying we're human beings who have this threat detector called the elephant in our brain, our limbic system. And it's conditioned. If we understand that, we can go farther towards deconditioning it. It also means we have to have some tough conversations, which we're not willing to have.
Joan says, when I started in healthcare in 1980 until now, I've had so many roles. The past 18 years were in consulting role where I was dumping ground for admin and department heads and then down to the actual departments about issues. At times I was invisible fly on the wall or saw paper trails, etc. Talk about feeling the pulse at different hospitals. I saw so many sides of the table. That's an important note, I think, because everybody's going through their own shit.
Yeah, and they can't see the rest of the picture.
And when you have so much on your plate, how are you supposed I've had all this personal stuff going on with me. My father was dying, and my mother's mentally ill. I've been taking care of her. My wife is pregnant. I financially support my mother-in-law. This is a lot. I'm 29. I work here.
Yeah, that's the worst.
I run.
Working here is like an ordeal.
Right.
Yeah.
So technically, I'm co-running 2 companies. It's a lot, and I just felt like I've been drowning for the last 6 to 8 months. And if you ask me what's going on, I'm just I have no fucking idea what's going on.
Yeah.
What's in front of me today, right now, that's all I care about. I'm trying to make the next stroke, and maybe if I make enough of these strokes, I'll get to shore. Maybe one of these days.
So people
but I can't see shore. It's beyond the horizon line. That's how it feels.
People who are blessed to see multiple nodes in a network have a bigger picture, but even then, we're blind to our own. I mean, you're doing therapy right now.
Yeah.
And the idea behind therapy is that most of what we do in our day, our elephant, is unconscious and unknowable to us without help. And even with help, it might be unknowable, but at least you chip away at it.
Therapy is interesting too, because when you just say the things that you're ashamed of, when you just let your shame out in the open, it weirdly suddenly cures it, right? But you have to do it in the presence of another person, because my thing that I will do is just be yeah, of course I do that because I'm probably these issues from the past, and that's why I do it, and that's how it is, and that's just what I do, and it's all right, I'm just gonna keep doing it. That doesn't. That's not gonna change. I never solve it. You have to have another human being see you and empathize with their experience in order to get any sort of healing.
This is interesting because sometimes I find doing these live shows when it's just me and a phone in a hotel room, I kind of am guys, here's my fucking secret shame. I get really triggered by people who, attack me based on this, because secretly I'm very nervous about that. I don't want to be that person. You know, these kind of things are really interesting. And you're right. Shame doesn't survive a light shined on it. It has to exist in shadows and a bit in darkness in order to thrive.
Mark says the truly enlightened man is not the one without bias, but the one that acknowledges his bias and not allow it to control his actions, right?
That's what it is. You have to acknowledge. So see, Mark, Mark nails it. We have to stop saying, I don't see race.
Yeah.
Color's not important to me.
That's why white people get uncomfortable when I say, do you know who's black? Colin Powell.
Yeah.
Right.
Still makes me laugh so hard. It's so funny
because it's just a fact.
Yeah, but it triggers,
right.
People get tense.
If I was going around saying, you know who's white, you know, Justin Bieber, people would be like, yeah, he is white.
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
You know who's Vietnamese? Short round.
Right.
Bet you didn't know that.
You know who's half black? The Rock. A lot of people don't know.
He's half Samoan, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Half black, half Samoan.
Yeah. My Samoan radar is not bad.
Yeah. The Samoan is what makes him a giant person.
That's right.
My God, he's huge.
That's right. He's a big man. I saw Jumanji too.
The Samoans are the biggest people on the planet.
They really are.
Dude, Texas, I have to tell you this stat. Texas has however many millions, tens of millions of people living in it, right? They put out 400 kids to Division I football every year. American Samoa, an island of 60,000 people, puts out 200 kids. They have half of Texas's output. It's insane. That's how big they are.
Oh my gosh.
Everybody on the island is related to somebody in the NFL. Like, that's no joke.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is, you know who's Korean? Connie Chung. So yeah, you're right, Mark. I think you acknowledge your bias. I've said before, like in terms of gender bias, I have deep implicit biases because I was raised by two Indian old school traditional parents. So, and in the 70s. So my implicit bias is, if I take a bias test, I'll be like, I know what the right answer is, but the way those tests work is if you hesitate, it dings you. So it's like, okay, when you say CEO of a company, who do you think? And it's like man, woman, and I'm like, both.
Yeah.
Whereas my initial is like man, and that's the implicit bias because you're conditioned. Yeah.
No, and I think it's we want to believe that we live in a meritocratic society, right? We want to believe that people's efforts and merits are what define them, and that we judge somebody not on the color of their skin, but on the content of their character, like Martin Luther King Jr. said, right? But we don't actually have a meritocratic society because wealth is passed down through generations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's one of the reasons why we love sports so much, is because, and it's like, think about the NFL with all the chronic traumatic encephalopathy and everything that's going on with head stuff, and like mothers don't want their kids to play Pee Wee football anymore. The NFL is still a very important release valve in American life because everybody on the field is from all different racial backgrounds, economic backgrounds, because it's a meritocracy. It's a pure meritocracy. Because it doesn't matter who your dad is. If you can't play, you can't play.
Right.
Like if the people that can play are going to be on the field, no matter where they come from.
Yeah, they're not going to sit on the bench.
Exactly.
I got to give a shout out to people. Whitney Price said, "I hate you so much, Tom Heineber." And people are like, oh, well, why are you being mean to him? He's being vulnerable. And it's like, no, you don't understand. This is an inside joke in the Z-Pack.
That's how we show love in the Z-Pack.
That's how we show love. At the end of every show, I used to be like, I hate you so much, Tom Heineber, because Tom would make a joke that was inappropriate and would probably get my medical license removed. Personally, I love and appreciate my partner's skin color in contrast to mine, Sally Metz. Obviously, people, some people say there's weakness in diversity. That's a going thread these days, that we don't have as much cohesion when you have a diverse population. I disagree.
Because you don't trust each other.
You don't trust each other. It's in-group, out-group competition. But if you look at a place like, say, San Francisco, it's so diverse, it hurts. It's so diverse. Like, you cannot walk on a block without seeing 20 different races.
Yeah.
They've managed cohesion, and the way they manage it is they're politically a little different. So they'll say, okay, well, something on the more liberal end of the spectrum actually works when you have a diverse population because it ties them together with a common community. Whereas, say, in a town in Texas, the opposite is true. You do have a group of people that maybe are more alike, not without exception, but, and so having this sort of in-group, out-group competition and a kind of a cohesion in society that's based around church or whatever, and a kind of more monolithic thing makes more sense.
Right.
Conservative politics make more sense, that kind of thing. So again, there's no I'm not a postmodernist that says everything is subjective and relative, because that's insanity. It's just, the perspective does matter. We create reality, but there are some truths. And so everybody's a little bit true but partial. They're all trying to enfold more truth. So we should respect that as much as we can.
Aaron says, please write the book. We need more understanding of pain in others, communalization of pain, and moral injury. And in turn, to be able to support my coffee table, the legs are uneven.
So you want a physical book. Okay, I'll send you a series of CDs.
Well, what we're going to do is, aren't we going to do the audiobook? And then if it makes sense, transcribe it and do an actual book for people who don't want to see it.
But it'll be like an abridged, big coffee table book with a lot of images.
Yeah.
Mostly of Logan, holding different guns.
Mark says it goes back to the whole tribal mindset.
That's what it is, Mark.
Very
I think that's right. We are tribal creatures that are designed to influence other people in the tribes, and that our ideas are right and yours are wrong, that our elephant, that our unconscious is right.
Jason says, as someone who teaches self-defense, we preach threat and pattern recognition.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to.
Makes sense.
Being hyper-vigilant and being, right. And the thing is, I think we're doing ourselves a disservice as a species to deny that there's pattern recognition.
Oh, yeah. There's areas of every town in this country where you're more likely to get
murdered.
Yeah. Everybody knows that. Right.
And it's usually the Korean areas. I'm not gonna lie. I'm terrified for my life. Anytime I see, japchae on sale.
You know what? That's racist.
You're right.
I go there for their amazing foot spas.
Happy endings?
Well, not at the foot spas, eh?
You're going to the wrong foot spa, Tom Heinemer, because I don't know if you've seen, but it's a whole thing.
I had one of them try that on my pinky toe, but it didn't work.
Your pinky toe? That's the most sensitive of all the toes, Tom Heinemer. In fact, there's a thing called the homunculus in the brain, which represents visually where, what part of the brain is sensing different parts of the body.
Yeah.
And most people say, oh, the penis is really big, and the lips and the fingers are very sensitive. It's my homunculus is all pinky toe. The whole thing is pinky toe. The rest is dead.
You know what I've realized? Homunculus, man, is it's a real thing for, all limbic system creatures, because my dog
has a homunculus that's just...
If you touch his little paws, it's like, don't touch my paws. If you scratch his little cheeks, he's like, I love it. But if you scratch his side, he's like, yeah, whatever. This is fine.
Your dog is such a little pussy, man. It's amazing. He's adorable. But it's funny, we did this thing on Instagram over the weekend. Dogs or cats? Just 75% love dogs. And I'll tell you, this is why I love cats. Because dogs are so damn needy. I have enough needy people around me.
This is true.
I don't need more love.
They're nodes that need to be connected, whereas cats are nodes that are happy to be siloed.
And they'll come to you when they need something, and you're like, what up, fist bump that cat? Get the fuck out.
There's this amazing this tweet. This guy was like, I learned that cats just meow to mimic baby cries. And ever since I heard that, I've been noticing a lot of fake shit about my cat.
It's so true. Dude, the cat wants something from you. It does not want you. The dog wants you. Even if you gave the dog nothing, if you're there for the dog. And listen, that's wonderful if you don't have any love and you're a complete loser. If you're a normal person with love in your life, you don't need a dog, all right? That is a hill I'm dying on, Tom Heinemer.
Dude, Chrissy says, new Z-Pack techie muggle here, and I'm here for Tom's wisdom. I'm gonna leave out the part where she said LOL. No, really though.
People don't realize, it's funny, in the last few shows we've had Tom on, and he's like, the thing about Sisyphus is he's pushing rocks up. And people are like, what happened to the fairly developmentally delayed Neanderthal that we're used to?
I was a malfunctioning node. I was a delayed node when I was in school. I was one of the gifteds that Blair Dowdy talks about.
Right.
And they all thought I had ADD, and they were like, oh, this kid doesn't. He just stares out the window, whatever. And so when everybody else would be doing assignments or whatever, I'd just be reading.
Right.
So I'd just read books and whatever.
Mostly Penthouse forums.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I took his 12-inch member and I gingerly placed it in my ear.
And what
that's called oral sex.
And what they call an autodidact.
Autodidact?
Yeah, that's
Is that kind of a masturbation reference? I knew it. Actually, what is an autodidact?
It just means you learn on your own.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because I hear that word all the time and I pretend I know what it is.
Autodidactic.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, he's an autodidact.
He's very autodidactic. You watch how Z works. He's going to use this on the show with Paul Offit, like 2 days from now. Yeah.
Well, so Paul, the thing is, most anti-vaxxers are autodidacts. They Google their answers and they learn.
Can't use it about anti-vaxxers.
No, because they're dumb.
What they learned was nothing. They looked at a whole treasure trove of information and be like, Yeah, it works. And they were like, here's one thing that says it don't. Let's do this.
Look at all the dogs and cats. People are real.
Adrienne has 5 dogs and 2 cats.
Wow.
Show dogs.
Oh, what?
Ooh, and she's got Cavaliers. I got a Cavalier. Yeah,
Is it King Prince Charles Cavalier?
King Charles.
Oh, King, sorry.
How dare you?
Sorry, the dog formerly known as Prince.
Delineate my dog on the royal hierarchy. You son of a bitch.
I'm a bad person, Tom Honiver, because I'm an autodidact. Oh.
Yeah, I know words.
Yeah, I know words. Melissa Turek would totally beat anti-vaxxers with my book, Make It Big. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's going to be big. It's going to be big, fam.
Cat's just plotting to kill you, Miranda says. Yeah, that's true.
That is true. Yeah, no, the cat, my cat, Z-Cat.
Just like, yo, if this dude don't wake up in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to eat his eyes. I'm just going to let y'all know.
When my cat was younger, all my family, the cat was so super affectionate. I'd pick the cat up, I put it right here, and I look at it, and it would bite my head. Like my bald head, it was like a big egg for it. And you just see this cat doing this.
The only reason we can live with cats is because they're so small. If they were 30 pounds, they would kill you.
2 words, Siegfried, Roy.
That's right.
They got cut up.
Imagine if you had a cat the size of a bull mastiff. That's a lion, dog. That's what we
it's
call a lion.
It's called a cougar.
That's called a lion.
That's
yeah,
right.
That's a cougar.
Believe me, I know about cougars. All right.
There was a sign up in the woods in Colorado, and it said, if you see a bear, play dead. If you see a mountain lion, fight back.
I've seen that because it's not going to. It's going to know you're alive.
No, you need to kill that.
No, you need to murder it. Yeah, you got to use size as an advantage. Yeah,
right in the face.
Speaking of threat detection, when I'm hiking in the Bay Area, sometimes I'm always on alert for cougars, man, for mountain lions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, and I'm going through my mind. I'm going through the sequence. Okay, this is what happened. First thing, you make yourself look big. It's hard because I'm 5'5", but I'm gonna make myself look big. Number next, kick it in the junk, because I don't care if it's a girl or a guy. No one likes getting kicked in the junk, and I'm gonna assume that's a trans species thing. Number next, just murder the fuck out of it.
Melissa and Carol both have parrots, and they say they're needy.
Oh, parrots are super needy because they're smart.
I don't want anything that can talk.
Yeah,
you know
right? Because it's going to make... It's shaming you.
Biscuits. And you'd be like, what? I'm not giving you biscuits.
Or worse yet, it's like shaming you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, beard.
Yeah.
Like, what is it about my beard? Is that a thing? Beard. Like, no.
There's an old Southern saying that says you should live your life in a way that they could sell your parrot to the town drunk.
Oh, and
when you die,
that would be okay.
I always thought that was
I'm already off the rails on that.
Funny colloquialism.
This is delightful.
Yeah, I use another
Bless
big
your
word.
heart. Bless your heart, Tom Honiver.
Bless your little heart.
Colloquial. Sometimes Tom will take a word that isn't used the way it's supposed to be used, but he'll use it incorrectly, but then just own it, so that I start questioning, is that really the definition? Have I been misdefining Socrates all these years? You know.
Here's the thing, Z. I'm really confident.
That's right. Supremely confident.
They have a saying for me. It's often wrong, but never uncertain. That's how I roll.
Oh, sounds a little like our president.
Adrienne says, Tom, let me know if you ever want another Cavalier. I don't. They're the world's neediest dogs. They really are the world's neediest dogs.
Yeah. Which is cool if you have love to give. I have none. I'm dead. I'm dead inside. Tom
Me too.
Honiver.
I was.
I'm dead inside.
I was. Now I went to therapy. I found my inner love, dog. You know what I learned about therapy? Here's the most interesting thing I learned. All that gay shit that people post on Instagram, it turns out it's true, dog. Let's go out on that note. Everybody, you just need to learn to live, laugh, and love, you know?
You know what's going to happen is the next thing, Tom's going to come in here with one of those fucking calendars that's got just footprints, and it's like, and the time there was one set of footprints was when I lifted you up, bitch.
Hey,
and signed God.
Hey, dear Z-Pack, if you get the chance to sit out or dance, I hope you dance.
Avengers 2. Actually, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Anyways, on that note, Z-Vac, I hope you enjoyed this. We might share this with the full group. What the hell? Nah. We'll decide.
This is just for you, the special
You tell us. You guys are special. If we share it, it's going to be a while. It's going to be a while, like tonight. All right, fools. We love you. Thanks for being Z-Packers for life, Super Packers for life. And I don't know, we out?
Peace out, homies.
I hate you so much, Tom Honiver.